car. My jacket is red, but it doesn't go fast.
He may sound a little strange to you and me.
Vroom, vroom, vroom.
But to his 2-year-old son who's interested in cars and colors, he makes perfect sense.
That's the sound cars make.
When you talk with your child, you build vocabulary, and learning starts long before school does. So follow their lead. Take simple everyday moments like eating dinner or just watching cars go by and turn them into learning moments.
Ooh, look, red car.
Yes, it's moving awfully fast.
Blue car.
Yes, the man in the red car is about to meet the man in the blue car. Get himself a pretty pink ticket.
Turn everyday moments into learning moments. For more tips, go to bornlearning.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Amber and Ian.
Apparently, Mendoza is going to stay home. He's not going to actually be there for the draft. So the NFL draft has become such an event, and you don't have the guaranteed, essentially, #1 overall pick.
If he wants to be with family, that's his prerogative. The NFL draft as an event has become coveted. And I don't have a problem with Mendoza.
But that is why I am torn on it, because of what it is now.
Amber and Ian. Weeknights at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes at Homes for Our Troops. And thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Your home for Richmond Spiders athletics all year round. W291CL Lakeside Richmond. WURV HD2 Richmond. We are 106.1 ESPN. Richmond. It's time to get your morning going. Spicy Mom.
We are going to wreak havoc.
The only thing I am thinking about is the game.
Holy catfish! Touchdown, Seahawks!
Rashid Shaheed. Richmond Sports Talk by Richmond sports fans. This is Fitz the Bill with Jack Fitzpatrick. All live from the capital of the Commonwealth, where sharp analysis, your cause, and Richmond always come first. If it's making headlines locally or nationally, we're breaking it down. Now, live from the capital of the Commonwealth, Fitz the Bill with your host, Jack Fitzpatrick.
What's up, Coach?
What's up, man? We talked about this in the office, making it happen. And, like, here
Yes, sir. I told you I was going to be back.
With the 7th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Washington Commanders select Sonny Styles, linebacker, Ohio State.
Yeah, I love Coach Quinn. He's a great man. You can see he has that dog in him. He wants to win. He's obsessed with winning. And, he treats people the right way. There's just so many great people in the building.
I told you I was going to be back. Sonny Styles, after having his pre-draft interview with the Commanders, called his shot. He ended up back in Washington. They get their guy. They get Dan Quinn's guy with the 7th overall pick. 10 out of 10. A+. What a pick for Washington. I mean, the draft fell perfectly for them last night. Welcome into Fitz the Bill right here on 106.1 ESPN Richmond. We're live on the ESPN Richmond app and ESPNRichmond.com. We're also streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. If you want to watch, just type in ESPN Richmond. We'll pop right on up, and you can watch it, like, comment, subscribe, and, of course, you can be part of the show by calling or texting into the Radkey Insurance phone line, 804-327-0888. And the draft last night gave us a lot of shocking moments just in the first couple of picks, right? Maybe I'm in the minority here, but Carnell Tate going 4 left me shocked. Jeremiah Love going 3 made me scratch my head. And shout out to the Arizona Cardinals here right off the top, because they single-handedly just reset the running back market. Jeremiah Love is going to make over $50 million guaranteed in his rookie contract. The most money guaranteed to a running back prior to that was about $20 million less, with Saquon making around 34-ish million in guaranteed. So shout out to the Cardinals for completely rewriting the running back market for the next decade. Arvell Reese slipped to 5. Mansour Delane, he was taken by the Chiefs after they traded up from 9 to 6 to go out and get their guy, their corner. Although you look and Sonny Styles felt like he was going to go to Washington, felt like New Orleans was going to take a wide receiver regardless. So maybe Kansas City didn't need to do that. But I want to start this morning with the Sonny Styles pick because he's a guy that was getting a ton of momentum throughout this entire process. Around early February, he was probably a mid-teens type of pick. That's where all the mocks were putting him. And then he has one of, if not the best combine. Rich Eisen went on his show live in Indy after Sonny Styles did all of his workouts, and he said that was the best round of workouts he had ever seen in the NFL Combine, he had ever heard of at the NFL Combine. So what did that do? Naturally, it vaulted Sonny Styles up draft boards, and the mocks leading into last night had him going as high as 4 to Tennessee, potentially even 3 if a team wanted to leapfrog everyone and go up and get Sonny Styles. Instead, he goes 7. He goes right to Washington as it just broke perfectly for him. Mendoza goes 1. We knew Bailey or Reese was going to go 2. And then from there, Love goes 3. The Titans shock everyone and go Tate. And all of a sudden, you're sitting there and you're like, there's a real chance they are going to have their pick of the litter here. And they get a guy who started his career as a safety. We all know that. That's why he's 6'5" and just a behemoth of a man. Transitioned to linebacker. Had a little bit of a rough transition his first year, but this second year as a linebacker, he showed extreme improvements. He is the Mike. That is what he says he is. He owns it. He's got elite football IQ, straight up dog. And Alan, as we know, it is Dan Quinn's guy. That is a guy that Dan Quinn identified early on. And Adam Peters, I've been saying it a lot. Don't trust anybody. You can trust Dan Quinn when he says this was his guy.
Yeah,
great pick.
When you get respected defensive minds or respected offensive minds, and they vouch for particular players, it goes a long way, or it should go a long way. And if this is to be his make or break season, he should get his guy, right? Like he should be able to get no barriers into excuses, right? Like he should be able to look at this season and look back on it and be like, I did the best I could do. And if the Commanders decide to move on from him after the end of the season, which I'm not trying to be negative, I'm just putting everything into perspective. Yeah. There are no excuses, right? You got your guy, you got your quarterback.
Yeah. You got your coordinators. You hired these coordinators.
Everything is you, right? Yeah. So I think that's also a sign of a shift, right? Like, they're stepping out the way. They're letting Dan Quinn prove that he can coach this team.
And Dan Quinn, the way his defense runs, right, is with an elite level linebacker. He had that in Bobby Wagner when he was in Seattle, and he had all that success there that ultimately got him hired by the Atlanta Falcons. He then kind of had them in Atlanta, kind of had them in Dallas. He more so relied on fantastic defensive backs in Dallas. But now he found his way to Washington. He got Bobby Wagner for the first 2 seasons, but they haven't re-signed Bobby. And that tells me that it's going to be Sonny Styles as the next foundational piece in a Dan Quinn defense. And this is what defenses have been built around. There's all that talk around the Kyle Hamiltons of the world, the Nick Eamon-Warries, the Swiss Army knife safeties that can go anywhere on the defense. They're the chess piece you can put anywhere. What's that? The queen? I guess that's the queen in chess. Yes. You can put them anywhere. I don't play a lot of chess, as you can tell. It's not a pawn, I can tell you that much.
They are not pawns.
You get all the headlines with them, but what was the most important part of the Baltimore Ravens defense? Roquan Smith. What was the most important part of the Seattle Seahawks defense this year when they won the Super Bowl? It was Ernest Jones. So it's great that you can have that Swiss Army knife, which I think Washington might still be looking for. But you get the guy that makes it all work. You get Sonny Styles. You get that linebacker. And I was seeing people post the relative athletic scores, the RAS scores coming out of the combine. Washington Commanders now have the most athletic linebacker core in the NFL. Leo Chenal had a 9.99 RAS score, which is about as high as you can get. And Sonny Styles had the highest RAS score ever recorded at the NFL Combine. So you've got 2 absolute athletic freaks back there. And I think it's the cherry on top of the cake is this offseason, Washington has gone after the defensive side of the ball, right? Hired Durante Jones, just drafted Sonny Styles. And then in free agency, you got Odafe Owe, Kaylavon Chason, Leo Chenal, Nick Cross, Tim Settle, Amik Robertson, and Charles Umenahu. Pretty solid haul that as they're trying to completely flip that defense. I think Sonny's the perfect little cherry on top. I didn't think he was going to be there at 7. I did in my mock draft yesterday, right? It was Caleb Downs. I had them taking at 7, which also would have been a really good pick. But that was mainly because I thought Sonny Styles was going to go a little bit earlier. I thought the Giants may have taken him at 5. Instead, the Giants go with Arvell Reese, who has a little bit of a fall, and all of a sudden you blink and Washington is set up nicely. They had the pick of the litter, and they went with a good one. Sonny Styles there. As we go on out to the phone lines to start off this Friday morning, we got Midlow Dan on line 1. Good morning. How are we doing?
Gentlemen, I'm doing great. Have you ever had homemade biscuits made from scratch?
Oh, yes.
That's how I started my day. I want to tell you, just the smell of it will make your tongue slap your brains out. It was that good. Is that good?
All right, you're making me hungry on this Friday. You're gloating a little bit.
One day I'll bring you something. How about that?
All right, that's a deal.
Listen, as far as the Commanders draft, I totally agree with you that they got a good one. But I wanted to just make a comment, and you guys may have talked about this before, but does Ohio State coach up some good people or not?
Oh,
I mean,
man.
Is it amazing how they bring them? And then they have Matt Patricia there last year, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, there's a Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator. So he's not just getting them ready to win in college. He's saying, hey, you want to succeed, this is what you need to do. And I think Sonny Styles will be one. He'll be one of the jewels that comes out of that. And he's going to show it, I believe. If they stay healthy, I'll tell you what, if they stay healthy, if the Commanders stay healthy, I'm taking them to win that division.
I don't hate that. I don't hate that. Normally, I would try to reel in some of your Ohio love, but Midlow Dan, yesterday was the first time Ohio State has had 3 players picked in the first 7 picks, and it just seems like they've been an NFL factory, especially a wide receiver, but now on the defensive side as well. I'll let you have that Ohio love there because Ohio State has been just churning out the pros.
I think they do great. They really do.
But appreciate you calling in, Midlow Dan. Have a great rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend. Always appreciate you calling in. Yeah, he's very right. Ohio State, they have been producing a ton of NFL talent. Matt Patricia, he has been there making sure that Sonny Styles improved, making sure that, Caleb Downs was fantastic. So they've been an NFL factory. All right, we're going to keep it on out in the phone lines. We've got Chris on line 2. Good morning, Chris. How are we doing?
Morning, Jack. Morning, Alan. I'd like to give 2 shout-outs this morning, and I'm giving shout-outs in the worst way. Congratulations to the Arizona Cardinals for wasting and ruining another career here.
Yep.
They're gonna ruin Jeremiah Love just like they did Marvin Harrison Jr. I hate to say that, but that is where your career goes to end, not to begin. And secondly, shout out to the New York Giants for guying it up as usual. I think they could have had Styles and Caleb Downs if they really wanted to build that defense up. They could have had both Buckeyes, and I think that would have been better on the defensive end than what they did with the 5 and 10. It was just kind of head scratching the second one they had.
I was a fan of their 2 picks. I really like getting Arvell Reese and Francis Mauanoa. They need offensive line help. Evan Neal's been a massive bust for them. And Andrew Thomas, is in and out of the lineup with injuries. I liked getting Mauanoa. He has the position versatility. And Arvell Reese fell to you. That felt like a pick you had to make. Yeah, you could have had Sonny Styles. Yeah, you could have gotten Caleb Downs 100% there at 10 as well. But I like going with Arvell Reese and Francis Mauanoa. I think it shores up the trenches for him. And look, you may be moving off of Kayvon Thibodeau as well. I know the reports came out last night that they're not moving off of him, but I think that's more of a leverage play for New York. I think they got better last night.
Yeah, I just think I still think they got some offensive weapons. I just think they were lacking. I think the Downs and Styles combo would have really put their defense over the top in a few years there, but that's all right. It fell down to Dallas, and Dallas got a gift wrap present from the Giants.
and Dallas got a lot better last night too. I mean, the whole NFC East. really improved. Dallas getting Caleb Downs and Malachi Lawrence. They got that speedy edge rusher out of UCF later on in the first round. I love both of their picks, and seems like Dallas has a concerted effort here, at least early on. We'll see what they do in the second and the third round, but early on, they've got a concerted effort to attack the defense because it was so bad a year ago. And look, maybe you wouldn't need to get Malachi Lawrence, though, if you didn't trade Micah Parsons. That's what I always come back to. But appreciate you calling in, Chris. Have a great rest of your Friday.
You too. 3-0, Alan. LeBron, 3-0.
You knew he was sneaking that one in. You knew it. We'll get a little NBA talk in hour number 2. We've got the crew coming in from Parlay Bar and Lounge over in Scott's Edition. We'll talk some NBA playoffs with them. We'll talk some NFL draft because I'm always interested to pick their brain about the NFL draft and how it impacts the card market, because the card market is such a booming industry, and just to see how that plays into it all. And we got some NBA playoff stuff happening in News or Snooze, mainly talking about how the Knicks nixed real hard last night, fumbling away the game. Goodness gracious. I don't know what was worse, Jeremiah Love going third to the Arizona Cardinals or the New York Knicks nixing in that way.
It's got to be the Knicks. Jeremiah Love he'll be fine. He's a talent. The Cardinals will just have to we'll just have to be patient with their long game, because what are their options? Like, seriously, what were their options?
Their options were trading back. Now, I think the reason they stuck and picked Love was because there was no one willing to trade up to 3, and their asking price was too much. But yesterday I asked you the question, Alan, who are the Cardinals' edge rushers? And both of us said, who the heck knows? Arvell Reese. Go get Arvell Reese. Last year, their edge rushers were as followed. Josh Sweat. Cool. Darius Robinson. Who? Dante Stills, Jordan Birch, Roy Lopez, Walter Nolan III. A bunch of who's, right? Jags, just a guy. You could have gone Arvell Reese with that third pick and just completely revitalized that defensive line, gotten a guy who has that positional versatility.
Hold on. They had Walter Nolan at the edge?
At defensive tackle.
Okay, all right. I was about to say he was an interior defensive lineman for me, but yeah, I know him.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, that's the only name I recognize.
LJ Collier.
Yeah, I don't know the rest.
It's what yeah, exactly. That's my point, right? Because like also now by getting Jeremiah Love, you've completely reset the running back market. He's going to get $50 million, $50.5 million fully guaranteed on his rookie contract. The most fully guaranteed money ever given to a running back in NFL history. He exceeds Saquon Barkley for the most guaranteed money to a running back. Saquon got $36 million. Love is going to be a great player, right? Love is going to be fantastic. On his second team, much like Saquon, we saw the flashes of greatness with Saquon with the New York Giants. He then goes to Philadelphia and he becomes an MVP candidate. That's what Jeremiah Love's going to do. The Cardinals, congrats, you just wasted the 3rd overall pick. In a year you needed every little help you could get. You went and got the one position on the football field, which is a luxury pick, because the running back is arguably the most reliant position on the football field. You need a good offensive line. You need a good quarterback. You need good wide receivers so they can't stack the box. It is the most reliant position on the football field. And they went and they got Jeremiah Love when they still need offensive line help, wide receiver help, quarterback help, heck, tight end. And they got Trey McBride. I won't go tight end help. Then defensively, they need defensive line help, linebacker help, safety help, cornerback help. But good job. You got Jeremiah Love. I am not a fan of that Cardinals pick, if you could not tell. All right, we're going to stay out on the phone lines. We've got Reggie on line 3. Good morning, Reggie. How we doing?
Well, who had the best suit game, man? Brothers were clean, man. We got the best suit game in the follow-up, if I may.
The best suit. Who was it? Who was it? Was it Carnell Tate? He had his mom's name embroidered on the inside of his suit. His mom passed away, and that was his way of honoring her. I'm a sucker for stuff like that.
Yeah. What about your Seahawks, Titletown Jack? Talk to me about your Seahawks.
Look, I think they were trying like heck to move out of that spot. I mean, John Schneider went on Seattle radio earlier this week and was like, essentially was just like, please, someone trade us. Please, we do not want to make this pick. Please, please, please. And then they ended up not making that pick, not being able to trade out of that pick, because the 6 picks prior to them were all traded. So I just think the market dried up for them, and they were stuck in that 32nd pick, and they were like, well, I guess we need a running back, so why don't we get Jadarian Price, the backup running back from Notre Dame? I saw someone tweet yesterday, Reggie, after the pick was made, and they said, I think this is the first ever first-round draft pick who has 0 career starts. So I think it's a good pick. They needed a running back because Zach Charbonnet is going to miss almost all of next year after he tore his ACL in the divisional round. So I think it's a fine pick, but I think they were trying real hard to trade out of it, and they just couldn't.
Well, let's talk about Mike Grable and also the NFL and the Department of Justice being a little upset with the way the NFL does posting their games. You think this is out of bounds with both issues?
With the Mike Vrabel situation?
Yeah, and also the NFL being looked at by the Department of Justice.
I think with the Mike Vrabel stuff, I mean, it's tough, right? Like he violated a moral code, and everyone's morals are different, and who knows how that is portrayed by the New England Patriots, but the NFL has shown they don't really care about morals, right? Reports are coming out that James Pierce Jr. may be allowed back into the league after the heinous things he did this offseason with his girlfriend. I think that is absolutely terrible. I don't think there should be a place in the league for James Pierce Jr., but that's just another example of how the NFL, a league I really like, but at times completely lacks morals, and we have to hold them accountable for that. Mike Vrabel and what he did, I would argue, lacked morals. But there are no rules that say if you don't have morals, you're not allowed to coach. So I think he's got to do a really, really, really good job of trying to win back over his locker room, because he preaches one thing and he's essentially saying, do as I say, not as I do. And that's always tough to get a bunch of grown men to buy into that.
Yeah, with the NFL and the Department of Justice, because look at these deals they made with Amazon.
Yeah.
So who else they made deals with?
Netflix, all of the streamers. Yeah. And I think the NFL in a weird way would actually like for this Department of Justice lawsuit to actually work, because it would blow up all of their deals and then they'd be able to renegotiate them. Because right now the deals aren't up for another 3 or 4 years, I believe. And currently, as it stands now, the NBA has a better per year deal than the NFL does. I think the NBA is like $5 billion per year because they just re-signed, where the NFL is like $3 or $4 billion. And here we are just throwing around the billion word like it means nothing. Like they have more money than they could ever dream of. But I think in a weird way, the NFL's like, well, if the Department of Justice blows up all of our deals, we get to rework them and we get to bring in like an extra $5 billion a year. So I think in some roundabout weird way, the NFL might actually hope the DOJ blows up these deals.
Yeah, well, you know, next if the NFL get deals blown up, college football's next.
Hopefully.
They do the same thing. They do the same thing.
Hey, Reggie, I hope. But appreciate you calling in. Have a great rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend as well.
You too.
There goes Reggie. Always appreciate Reggie calling in. And yeah, that DOJ stuff, that is just something simmering in the background right now. We had the great NFL draft. It may be on a completely new network next year, depending on what happens with the DOJ. All right, let's get a quick break in here. We'll step aside. We'll keep breaking down what happened last night in the NFL draft. On the other side of the break, we'll talk about the shocking pick the LA Rams made with Ty Simpson. Sean McVay said some interesting stuff in the post-draft presser. We'll talk about that on the other side of the break, because I think Sean McVay was a little shocked, just like the rest of us, that the Rams went with a quarterback at 13. So that's coming up next right here on Fitz the Bill.
Yeah, there was a lot of players that we liked, but when you do look at it, I think the thing you liked about the body of work.
This golf pro tip is brought to you by the professionals at Queenfield Golf Club. If you haven't been active this winter, ease back into your golf game by hitting a bucket of balls on the driving range and make sure to stretch before playing. Most golf injuries occur in the spring when it's a warm day and golfers try to jump into a full swing. When you're ready to hit the links this season, head over to Queenfield Golf Club. Reserve your tee time by calling 804-769-8838 or online at queenfieldgolf.com.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-921-8189. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-921-8189, 800-921-8189, 800-921-8189.
Weather reports on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Lennox dealer. Online at hermanallenplumbing.com.
Progressive's Home Quote Explorer helps you easily find and buy the right coverage for you. It's everything you've always wanted. Well, I mean, as far as a website that lets you shop, quote, and buy insurance in one place. But hey, maybe that is everything you've always wanted. Yeah, people have different types of dreams. And if all you've ever been searching for is a website that helps you choose home insurance rates and coverage, boy, do we have great news about Progressive's Home Quote Explorer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Big color, bigger savings. Sherwin-Williams Super Sale is here. Get 40% off paints and stains April 24th through the 27th with prices starting at $30.89. Whether you're refreshing your interior or exterior, we've got the colors to bring your vision to life. And with delivery, getting everything to your door is easier than ever. Shop online to have it delivered or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. Delivery available on qualifying orders.
Evan Canty and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Let him develop for a year or two before you let him take over the reins. Have a quality veteran presence to teach him the NFL game. And once he figures that out and marries that with his natural gifts, then all of a sudden you have the makings of a franchise quarterback. But to think that you're going to parachute Ty Simpson into any situation and that team is going to microwave success, it ain't going to happen.
Unsportsmanlike. Weekday mornings starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
106.1 ESPN traffic.
Expect some delays heading north on Powhite Parkway between Midlothian Turnpike and Chippenham Parkway. There's been a crash on Staples Mill Road at Clinton Park Boulevard, as well as some heavy traffic heading north on 95 between Bells Road and Maury Street, and again between Downtown Expressway and Hermitage.
Coming up on the Friday edition of Border to Border, we'll recap round 1 of the NFL Draft and look ahead to the rest of the event. 4 until 6 here on 106.1 ESPN.
Hey, Richmond, looking for more Fitz the Bill content and behind-the-scenes looks into the show? Well, follow us on Instagram at Fitz the Bill ESPN RVA. You'll get all of the clips, exclusive hot takes, and so much more. Follow us at Fitz the Bill ESPN RVA on Instagram.
There was a lot of players that we liked, but when you do look at it, I think the thing you liked about the body of work is, let's make one thing clear. This is Matthew's team. And you get a chance to be able to address, the backup quarterback. We've got Stetson. We've talked about the importance of Jimmy. So to be able to add somebody that you can evaluate a body of work where he was asked to play the position and a lot of things that do translate.
Let's go crazy. Am I right? I mean, let's go crazy, LA Rams, with the 13th pick. They went with Ty Simpson last night. Look, the TV broadcast, they had themselves a night last night. They were behind by about 20 minutes on every single pick. They trimmed down the time between picks from 10 minutes to 8 to try and speed up the draft. That kind of worked, but the TV broadcast was extra behind. So reports started circulating about 20, 30 minutes prior to it was actually announced that the Rams were going quarterback and the Rams were going Ty Simpson. At that point, I was just thinking to myself, I hope this is fake. I hope this is a troll job. But it wasn't, and they went with him. They went with a very green quarterback. 15 total starts for Ty Simpson. That's unheard of. We're in uncharted territory. Ruben Bain may have short arms, but at least he knows how to play with them. Ty Simpson may not even know how to play football with such a limited sample size going from his college days. Josh Allen is the most successful quarterback who's had roughly the same amount of starts. Other than him, it is littered with draft bust after draft bust after draft bust. And you just heard McVay there. Simpson's going to compete as the backup quarterback. Of course, he's not going to compete with Matthew Stafford for the starting job, right? You're not going to, as Sean McVay said, you're not going to compete with he gets an opportunity to learn from a reigning MVP and a first ballot Hall of Famer. But you would think with the 13th pick, Ty Simpson would be the quarterback in waiting, and that they're making this pick for 2028, maybe even next season in 2027, things like that. But the way McVay talked about it, he's going to step in and he's going to compete with Stetson, and he's got Jimmy there. Jimmy has been reported, Jimmy Garoppolo, that is, on a first name basis with old James. Jimmy Garoppolo is apparently weighing retirement. So maybe they're trying to get a QB3 in there, but that's just not what you do with the 13th pick, right? Because every move the Rams have made this offseason have said, win now. It's the F them pick strategy that they've had. This is their final push. This is Super Bowl or bust, right? They went out, they signed Jalen Watson to a lucrative deal. They used one of their first round picks to go out and get Trent McDuffie. They retooled their back end, which was their biggest issue this season. And even with that, they were arguably one of the top teams in the NFL. They were maybe a Zach Charbonnet 2-point conversion, weird 2-point conversion away from hosting in the playoffs and potentially beating the Seahawks in the playoffs. Instead, that all crumbles and they fall just short because of the Seattle Seahawks. Shout out Seahawks. But like, this is a team that's Super Bowl or bust heading into 2026. And all of their moves have been win now moves. How does this help them now? It doesn't. And it may not help them next year. It may not help them the year after that. It may never help them because Ty Simpson is a project with a capital P. I mean, McVay doesn't even seem pumped for this. And that's the other part. Because when this came through, I thought to myself, all right, I guess McVay's on board for this and they're looking ahead. They think they can mold Ty Simpson into a starter level quarterback. He's got some tools, not a lot. He's a kind of mobile quarterback. He showed flashes of being really smart with the football, something Sean McVay really values prior to his injury. Then post-injury, the things got off the rails a little bit, but Sean McVay may have seen something that he liked. Apparently not. Apparently Sean McVay doesn't like the pick. And then Albert Breer tweeted this last night after the draft concluded. Albert Breer tweeted, Rams general manager Les Snead and UT Martin coach Jason Simpson, father of Ty Simpson, have a very strong relationship to the point where Snead helped advise the family when Jason's son, Ty, was making a decision on whether or not to declare for the NFL draft. Now, Ty Simpson is a Ram. All right.
I don't have any friends I love enough to risk my general managing job on their child, unless their child is really talented.
Yeah, unless their child's Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. No, but your child's Ty Simpson.
Yeah, I mean it's a bad pick. It's even worse when you look at the fact that what you just said. There's also a report they didn't even talk to him for his 30. Like they never interviewed him, which is concerning.
Well, because they didn't need to. They could just go talk to Jason, the dad.
Either way, it's concerning. It's concerning that the body language of Sean McVay.
Yeah, let's dive into that.
Is not happy at all. And look, we saw this with Shador. And we've seen it with a couple other guys. You do these guys no favors if the coach doesn't want them. Like seriously, even if he has an ounce of talent to work with, the guy who's working with them doesn't want him there. So I can only imagine, there's a lot of egos involved in professional football.
Yeah.
Not everybody's going to humble themselves enough to just be like, yeah, I'll make it work. Your leash is really short when it comes to mistakes and room to grow when the people don't want you there. So I think that's a mistake. It's the only time during the telecast I agree with Booger McFarland. They are not in a position to draft a quarterback.
No.
I'm going to take a shot at Lou Riddick once again because he says stupid things and it makes me mad because people will regurgitate this nonsense. We did this with Michael Penix. They did not need Michael Penix in Atlanta. Michael Penix has been an absolute waste of a draft pick.
Yeah.
Even if he turns out to be a good quarterback, you are wasting top talent, right? Top talent. Mekhi Lemon went after this.
Yes.
Casey Conception went after this. There was a host of tackles that went after this. Reuben Bain went after this. Dylan Thiemann went after this. All players who could help put the Rams over the Seahawks if the Seahawks had a mid-year, right?
Yes.
Ty Simpson is going to not play the entire season. It's ridiculous.
You're working me up now. If we are going to draft a project or a guy that may need to sit for a year, go out and draft the Tennessee corner, right? He wasn't even drafted in the first round yesterday. He's still available, and he was regarded as the CB1 by some people. Like, I think he was the CB2. I like Mansour Delane a bit more, but like McCoy is very good. He's still there. If you're talking about a guy that you may want to stash for a year, go out and get a guy who will be productive for you. Next year's draft is also much better at the quarterback spot. You're not in a spot when you're in the win now Super Bowl or bust window to go out and get a guy who may be sitting for the next 1 or 2 or 3 years because we don't know how long Matthew Stafford's going to play. I know he mulled retirement this past offseason, and he's been struggling with injuries really his entire career, but the way Sean McVay was acting in that post-draft presser gave me the vibe that Matthew Stafford hasn't been mulling retirement this offseason. Gave me the vibe that Matt Stafford
he's got 2 more years.
Has got a couple more years in him, maybe even 3 years in him, and that Sean McVay, based off of his body language, really feels like they just wasted a draft pick when they needed to go out and get a wide receiver.
I was going to say,
a lineman.
I'm not best friends with McVay, but he's a smart guy. And I know that he knows that with Puka Nacua going through what he's going through, and guys like Lemon and Conception and
Devontae Adams maybe being injury prone in another year.
And old. I know that is not the pick he was thinking. And again, this concept of you don't wait around till you need a quarterback to draft a quarterback. You absolutely do.
Yes.
You absolutely do, because you can build components around. That's why I'm not too upset about the Cardinals pick, in the sense of they will, if they finally get a quarterback next year, or at some point when they get a quarterback in the next 2 to 3 years, whether it be free agency or by draft, they have a wide receiver 1 talent in Marvin Harrison Jr. They've got an RB1 talent in Jeremiah Love. It's not ideal, but in that situation, what can you do? You got to build some kind of way.
Well, I just think the Cardinals need so much more, and Love is such a luxury pick. You should have gone Arvell Reese. You could have gone Reuben Bain, Francis Mauanoa, Spencer
put it this
Fano.
way. I'd rather have Jeremiah Love at number 3 than Ty Simpson anywhere in the top 32.
Now, I agree with that. Shockingly, I agree with that. And like the other part about why, and here I go again, talking positional value, surplus value, all of that. You're now paying a whole heck of a lot of money to your backup quarterback. You're paying a lot of money to your backup quarterback. And what's so enticing about getting a rookie quarterback is getting him on team control for the next 4 or 5 years. That's why the Jordan Love pick was so head scratching when they had Aaron Rodgers. It's like, yeah, back in the day, maybe you get a quarterback, you stash him, and then you can sit him for a couple of years and all of this stuff because you would negotiate a contract that wasn't pre-negotiated like it is now in the CBA. Right now, Ty Simpson could sit for the next 2 to 3 years. We may not see Ty Simpson until year 4 of his rookie contract. By then, it's too late to declare you want to pick up his 5th-year option. So you're not even getting the benefit of that. And then all of a sudden, after 1 year of seeing him on the field in the scenario I just made up, you then have to decide whether or not you want to re-sign him to a long-term deal.
Well, that's
the Packers threaded the needle and did it right with Jordan Love, but who's to say the Rams are going to do that? It is truly a head-scratching decision.
That's another red flag. You spend 4 years at a school and you only start 1 year. 1 year. Come on, man. Like, even if he had transferred out and got some experience under his belt, that would have mattered. But like, you couldn't beat out a guy.
Hey, watch it. Seattle Seahawks best quarterback too. Jalen Milroe.
I was gonna say you couldn't beat out a guy like Milroe. We have issues here, in my opinion. A lot of red flag.
Lot of red flags. All right, let's get a quick break in. But before we do that, we've got Dolphin Dave out there on line one. Dolphin Dave, your Miami Dolphins made a couple of solid picks last night. They went out, they got Caden Proctor, Chris Johnson. Caden Proctor, maybe a little bit of a reach, but the dude's got tools. I didn't know they made humans as large as Caden Proctor, honestly.
No, he's like, the term massive was made for him.
Yeah, his head is as big as me. Like his head himself is as big as me.
Crazy part is you could argue he might be the second biggest if you put him next to our guy that plays guard.
Yeah, Vega Ioane. Yeah, so Caden Proctor, Chris Johnson, solid draft last night for the Miami Dolphins there, Dolphin Dave.
I'm pretty happy camper about what we ended up doing, and I honestly did not know the second pick we had. I was sound asleep at that point, which is bad on me. Listen, I'm not totally disagreeing with you about the Ty Simpson thing, but there's one thing I am adamant about that could help in his favor and help in the Rams' favor. If Matthew Stafford does play for 2 more years, I think that I think Mendoza should sit. I think Mendoza should sit for a year. But, you know, he's got if Cousins is going to go ahead and be willing to teach Mendoza the NFL game, I just harken back. Why don't we look back at the quarterbacks that have done really well by sitting in? I go to Patrick Mahomes. He learned. He learned for a year before he went out there. Look how good he is. Ty Simpson could get 2 years of Matthew Stafford as his mentor. Might be the. I mean, I can't go against McVay because McVay is smarter than all of us put together. But so if he's not happy, I can understand it. But you know what? You got Ty Simpson sitting on a bench learning from another quarterback. You got 2 years of that. Ty Simpson's going to end up rocking and rolling in 3 years and being that quarterback they're looking for.
So, Dolphin Dave, my only pushback to this, and I'm not trying to be a jerk, but the folks who sat had a lot of talent. You don't just sit on a bench in the NFL and get better. You have to come in with a certain amount of talent. Ty Simpson's not coming in with that kind of talent. Aaron Rodgers had a lot of talent when he sat behind Brett Favre. Jordan Love, for what it's worth, I'm not a huge fan of him, but he had a lot of talent coming out of Utah State when he sat behind Aaron Rodgers. Like, obviously, Patrick Mahomes threw for almost 700 yards in the game. So he had a lot of talent and ability sitting behind Alex Smith. Ty Simpson sat for 3 years at Alabama, started his 4th year. He didn't look good at all, honestly. Not at an NFL level, not with the ability to be a first-round pick. I don't think it's going to work. I think it's a bad pick just off that.
Well, you know what? I'm not saying you're wrong. All right, I'm definitely not saying you're wrong off that. I'm just saying the fact that if you have a situation, I think any situation where you can take a quarterback and he could sit behind and learn at the NFL game. You know, I am not a proponent of starting a rookie.
Yeah.
Unless you are so strapped. And you know what? We brought 2 in too quickly. I'll tell you that right now. What's his name? Fitz. Trying to remember.
Oh, yeah. Was it Fitzpatrick?
Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick should have started the entire year. And then all of a sudden we're seeing Tua get thrown in there and he wasn't ready. Okay? I mean, he played good the next year. He was not ready to play, and he should have been sitting that for a year. I am adamant that unless it's the second coming of Tom Brady, you sit the rookie quarterback for the year.
Shoot, even Tom Brady sat.
Yeah.
But
and you know what? And they learned. The NFL game is totally different. You can't. You can't throw in a rookie. All right. I don't think Cam Ward did great. I don't think. What's his name? You were just mentioning. I don't think any of them did great coming in as rookies. You know, but they were forced into it. And before I go real quick, I've had that debate with Bob and Matt in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
They're a proponent. If he's a first-round pick, Mendoza should start. No, he shouldn't start.
I'm in agreement.
Cousins, and he should learn.
Yeah. Appreciate you calling in, Dolphin Dave. Have a great rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend. I'm in agreement with you, Dolphin Dave, right? Mendoza should sit. And that's why they brought in Kirk Cousins. I think Mendoza is a very, very good quarterback. I think he's a ball of clay. And Kirk Cousins and this coaching staff can mold him into the quarterback they want to make. My pushback with Ty Simpson, it's kind of to piggyback off of Alan's point, right, is you need a ball of clay to mold. Ty Simpson is not a ball of clay. The dude is a rock. You can't mold him. He is what he is. That's the issue with Ty Simpson, and that at its core is my biggest issue with the Rams taking him. You want to draft, if you're going to sit him for a year or 2 or 3, you want to draft a ball of clay, something you can mold, put in the kiln, harden up, and you get a great piece of pottery. But what the Rams did was draft a rock, and they're going to try and break it down, then make it into clay, then try to build it up. That's never worked out, and it will never work out. And the Rams wasted a 13th pick when they are in a Super Bowl or bust window. All right, let's get a break in. We'll step aside. We'll do news or snooze on the other side right here on 106.1 ESPN Richmond.
Eisenhower Health is recruiting physicians across a variety of specialties. Physicians, your future starts here. Join a team where advanced care, compassion, and community come together. At Eisenhower Health, a nonprofit healthcare system in Southern California's beautiful Palm Springs area, medical excellence meets exceptional quality of life. Here, you'll deliver top-tier care with advanced technology, all in a place where sophisticated work-life balance thrives. Find your place at Eisenhower Health. Visit emc.org/MD to learn more. Welcome home.
Imagine booking a hotel reservation anywhere in the world and getting free airline tickets. Yes, when you call our special toll-free travel hotline right now and make a hotel reservation, we'll give you an airline credit, and that credit could equal a free round-trip ticket. We have hotels all over the world. So whether you want to go on a business trip to New York, a family vacation to Vegas, or relax in Acapulco, simply book your hotel reservations with us and we'll give you a credit that could be worth free airline tickets. You can book your hotel reservations right now over the phone, get your credit, and call us back when you're ready to book your flights. It's that simple. Get your trip squared away right now. Make your hotel reservations and get your free airline tickets. Here's the number.
800-494-2182. 800-494-2182. That's 800-494-2182.
Weather reports on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Lennox dealer. Online at hermanallenplumbing.com.
I remember brushing my hair and looking down and thinking, oh my gosh, do I have any hair left? I used to look at women with thick, beautiful hair and think, why doesn't my hair look like that?
My thinning hair is making me feel so old.
If you want thick, healthy, gorgeous hair, then you need Hair Volume from New Nordic. With clinically proven ingredients like apple extract, biotin, and millet, Hair Volume nourishes your hair follicles to promote thicker, healthier looking hair. Say goodbye to shedding, thin, and dull hair, and hello to thick, healthy hair with Hair Volume.
Since taking Hair Volume, the shedding has all but stopped. Now, instead of being jealous of other women's hair, I have friends who are jealous of mine.
My hairdresser couldn't believe the difference in my hair. Now she's using Hair Volume too.
Available as a tablet or delicious gummy, Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com, or find Hair Volume in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
If you want to talk Braves baseball,
here comes some late night dynamite here at Truist Park.
There's only one place in town to turn for all the action. 106.1 ESPN, bringing you nonstop Braves action all season long.
High in the air, deep to left field. That's a long gone daddy.
Presented by our friends at Park and Go. 106.1 ESPN weather.
Expecting very warm temperatures today with a high reaching 89 degrees later this afternoon. A mix of sunshine and overcast skies with some scattered showers later this afternoon, and lows dropping down tonight to 56 degrees.
Hey, Richmond, this is Joe Simpson. There's only one place in the 804 to stay up to date on all things Atlanta Braves, and that's 106.1 ESPN.
News.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Or snooze.
News or snooze this morning, going back to the draft, Jets draft. David Bailey, Kenyon Sadiq, and trade back into the first round to select Omar Cooper Jr.
This is newsworthy.
It is absolutely newsworthy. They made actual moves.
It's also newsworthy. I wish I could have cut the clip. Canty this morning on Unsportsmanlike, I was driving into work, right? And I was listening to Unsportsmanlike, see what they're talking about. This dude was praising the New York Jets, saying this is awesome. They're going to be competitive next year. All of this, going all in on the New York Jets. What?
No, seriously, it was a weird draft.
It was not. I don't think it was good. No, I disagree in that. I do not think this. David Bailey, all right, you can take him with the second overall pick. Kenyon Sadiq, you have Mason Taylor as your tight end. You don't need Kenyon Sadiq. And then I don't hate Omar Cooper Jr. because you needed a wide receiver too. But like, maybe this is me just being I love the trenches. And if I could be a GM of a team, Alan, I would go O-line and D-line with every pick. I just did not love Kenyon Sadiq and then trading back into the first to get Omar Cooper.
I'm not opposed to Sadiq just because, again, we've talked about how the league is going to 13 and 12 personnel. You're going to need an extra tight end, especially one that has the upside to be such a aerial threat. Now, whether or not he's built to block, some people question it. But I mean, as far as how he can be used as a weapon, he's a pretty versatile tool. And you only had Garrett Wilson. Now you give him a complimentary receiver and another valuable tight end weapon. Whomever the quarterback winds up being, and again, they're another team that might end up getting a quarterback in the near future from the draft themselves. They'll come into a situation where they've got a good running back, two good options at tight end, and two wide receivers. Like you're built to compete. You just need to find that piece of a quarterback. And again, if you've got the talent, even if they're young, you can bring in one of these vets, like Aaron Rodgers, that hopefully doesn't get hurt. To compete.
To compete. I just Kenyon Sadiq, all right. I don't love it. Look, there's just no way around. I don't love a tight end at 16, whether or not he is the next Vernon Davis, all of this stuff. Omar Cooper at 30, you had to move up 3 spots because you had the first pick of the second round, right? So you had to move up 3 picks. So you give the 49ers the 33rd pick plus a 5th round pick. Not necessarily too much, but like you got to think they're at 33. Denzel Boston would have been available. Maybe Omar Cooper falls there. Zachariah Branch, he's a really good gadget guy. Chris Brazzell, the second, I like him. And then kind of later on down the line a little bit, you've got guys like Elijah Surratt, Chris Bell, Ted Hurst. I think you could have had a couple of different options there at 33. Now, the Jets must have just loved Omar Cooper. And at its core, I just don't agree with that. And so people are giving the Jets A+ grades. I do not agree with it fully. I give them just about an average grade.
It's the Jets, man. Lower your bar. This is definitely an A for them.
Yeah, an A for them gets them 4 wins next year.
What is popping off in New York right now that they can celebrate? Let's give them this one. This is me throwing an olive branch. Because at number 2, Knicks fumble late, lose to Hawks, trail 2-1 in the series.
Alan, I'm out. I'm done.
They done turned CJ McCollum into the Riddler.
Take my Knicks card. I'm done. I hate this team. I'm over it. It's done.
This every year.
I do it every. I'm never doing it again. I'm done.
No, we need a year 3.
I'm so out on the Knicks.
You sure?
What the?
Fool me once, shame on me.
You may need the
twice.
dump button. Where's J. Cole when you need him? Load the chopper. Let it rain on you. You know what I'm saying? Jeez Louise, New York.
They are awful.
I'm done. Karl Anthony Towns had a plus 22.
Yeah, he actually, it's not his fault this time.
Hey, but you know what? It didn't matter because guess what Mikal Bridges plus minus was?
Did Mikal Bridges play? That's the question.
He played 21 minutes. Guess what his plus minus was?
Was it like negative 20?
Minus 26.
All right, I was joking.
Get him out of here.
But yeah,
get him out of here.
He didn't do anything.
You gave up your entire future to reunite Jalen Brunson and Mikal Bridges and Josh Hart, the Villanova trio. And Mikal Bridges is unplayable.
You know, I thought about that too yesterday. I was like, this whole Villanova trio thing is kind of goofy, man. They were never that good to bring them together. Seriously. And the one guy I would have kept was DiVincenzo.
And said they gave up 5 first rounders for Mikal Bridges.
Yeah.
I'm done with them. I'm done.
You'll be back.
I won't. You're down 2. You're going to lose this series to the Atlanta Hawks. You've blown 2. I'm done.
Joker has missed 31 shots over his last 2 games as Wolves take a 2-1 series lead.
Newsworthy. And I'm all in. I'm taking all the New York stock I just sold. Granted, I just sell my New York stock at its lowest point. Maybe I did. maybe that's bad business investing.
No, I'll give you one pass. You're allowed to do this one time.
I'm taking all of my Knicks stock and I'm putting it in the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Okay.
Give me the Minnesota Timberwolves. Give me Anthony Edwards. I know he just had 17 points, not the best night, but Ayo Dosunmu. That's right. The Fighting Illini star guard from 4 years ago when he was teamed up with Kofi Coburn.
Yeah, he was I expected more out of him at this level.
He's giving it to you now. 32 minutes, 25 points.
Didn't he go to Chicago first?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. I thought that would have worked better.
I thought so too, but they shipped him off. Maybe, I think he had another stop after Chicago. Either way, he's found his way to Minnesota. They dominated Denver last night, 113-96, and the Timberwolves have gotten into the head of Nikola Jokic. Jokic went 7 of 26 last night. His worst shooting performance in his playoff career.
Only
finished
had
with
3 assists.
Only had 3 assists. Did have 15 boards, but at a negative 21 plus minus. I'm all in on Minnesota with the 2-1 series lead. You've got all the momentum now. Winning a game in Denver, winning the first game at home. You look poised to take a commanding 3-1 lead. I'm all in on them.
Even better after our guys told the world, you just attack them. Go at Joker. Go at this. Go at that. It does work.
Shot 48%.
I know their coach looks even goofier because he was like, what's our defensive rating? And they were like 6 in the playoffs. It's like, yeah, in the playoffs. Well, what were you in the regular season, man? Like the totality of what your team has done. Like just because you have a good stretch in the playoffs, especially with it being the first freaking series, basically. Like, what are we talking about?
Also,
man?
6th in the playoffs, which means you're slightly above average.
Yeah.
Good job. We're a championship level team, and we play above average.
Gave me some insight on how he processes things as a coach, because that it's not the comeback you think it is. Second game in a row that the Timberwolves have gotten some great production off the bench.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's something to keep an eye on.
Shout out Bones Highland. Got 6 points in 15 minutes. Right now, he's uber efficient with his minutes.
You, and if you can keep Joker under 8 or under in assists, you will beat the Nuggets.
He's been so inefficient shooting the basketball. I dare say you could get 15 assists and it won't matter because he just cannot put the ball in the basket now.
I think last night got him out their element because they got down so much early.
25-11 after the first quarter.
Him jacking up 10 threes lets me know they were in desperation mode. But what is Jamal Murray doing? Like, you should be the one with 10 threes, man.
0 for 5. Jamal Murray, Christian Brown, and Cam Johnson combined to go 0 of 9 from three-point land. You throw Nikola Jokic in there, that quartet went 2 of 19.
Might be time to start Tim Hardaway. We haven't done that wrinkle yet.
I don't know. Tim Hardaway had a minus 13 last night. I know plus minus isn't everything, but that's rough.
No, that's rough. It's not everything, but it gives you an idea of how bad your game is going.
He had 28 minutes and he had a minus 13, 11 points, 3 of 8. I don't know if Tim Hardaway's saving him. I don't think anyone is saving the Denver Nuggets right now.
How long you think it is before they opt to fire the coach? Because I feel like he's definitely going to take the fall for all this.
I think he gets one more year because the ownership was so high on him after moving off of Mike Malone. This was their handpicked guy. They won't move off of him. I got an extra news here before we wrap up this first hour.
Let's go.
Whit Babcock announces retirement as the athletic director for Virginia Tech. Newsworthy. I think Virginia Tech fans are rejoicing. Virginia Tech. I've never seen an athletic director hated more. Virginia Tech fans probably are lighting couches on fire, a la West Virginia.
I do feel bad for Whit a little bit.
I do too.
Because I don't think he was intentionally bad. You know how sometimes people just have that ego and it makes you not like him. I think he wanted what was best for Virginia Tech, and I think all the shots he took just didn't happen to go in on the football side. That's really was hurting him. The football program never met expectations at the Frank Beamer. And some of the revisionist history seems to be a little crazy too with Frank. So he hasn't gotten any help with that either because people remember Frank way more fondly than his actual accolades sometimes. But
crazy how that works.
It is what it is, man.
Crazy how that works. Whit Babcock in the announcement yesterday, he said, "It weighs heavily on me that we have not reached the level of football success our fans so deeply deserve. This program means too much to too many for anything less. I'm confident that with Coach Franklin, along with the Invest to Win support, the foundation is in place for our program to elevate and remain at a nationally elite level." Whit Babcock could get a little Frank Beamer type of stuff going. And if Franklin hits, and they become a nationally relevant program again, I think the Whit Babcock tenure will be looked at very fondly. So he's going to go into retirement, crossing his fingers, crossing his toes, and just hoping it works. All right, coming up, hour number 2, we got Duke from Parlay Bar and Lounge joining us, and we've got Pat Jaggers from the Motor Racing Network as well, so stick around.
Richmonders love Pella, Virginia, and it's easy to see why. Pella gives you more, so you can feel confident choosing us for your window and door projects. While other companies may offer just 1 or 2 options, Pella has a full range: wood, vinyl, and fiberglass, so you get quality and customization, not just a quick fix. When you choose Pella, we'll handle everything from order to installation. Right now, get 50% off qualifying installations or 0% APR for 48 months. Find out more at PellaVirginia.com. Some restrictions apply.
This is advertising material. When a doctor's mistake leaves you or someone you love seriously hurt, you need a fighter in your corner. Alexander Schnarr Trial Attorneys has been holding negligent doctors and hospitals accountable and getting families the justice they deserve. The consultation is free. They don't get paid until you do. Call 877-222-6666 or visit alexwins.law. Don't wait, alexwins.law. This is advertising material. Past results do not guarantee future outcomes. Every case is different. Philip George's licensed attorney in Virginia is responsible for legal work. Office is located in Norfolk.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-350-5858. That's 1-800-350-5858. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-350-5858. That's 1-800-350-5858.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Your home for Richmond Spiders athletics all year round. W291CL Lakeside Richmond. WURV HD2 Richmond. We are 1061 ESPN. You're listening to the second hour of Fitz the Bill on 1061 ESPN.
Fernando Mendoza, the Cal transfer going to Indiana, I expect him to take a massive leap in his play this year. I expect Fernando Mendoza to become a first-round quarterback. And I'm going to double down on it. Fernando Mendoza will be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. Called it. Nailed it. That was from June and October on Fitz the Bill. Man, we're good over here. We had a feeling that one was coming. We were talking with Joe DeLeon as well, friend of the program. I believe we talked with him right after the NFL draft last season as well, and he was on it as well. So if you come on Fitz the Bill, you better be a Fernando Mendoza truther. And we called this bad boy a long time ago. Boom. That's why the Las Vegas Raiders get an A for drafting Fernando Mendoza. I won't give an A++ because I think there is some. It was the pick. It was the only pick. It's what the Raiders should have done. It is what they did. But I just think Mendoza lacks the plus side of it. I think he can be a very good starter. I don't know if he'll be a Hall of Famer. I don't know if he'll ever be an All-Pro, but he will be a quarterback. I say it all the time. There are 3 buckets I put my quarterbacks in. I can win because of, I can win with, and I can't do anything with. Mendoza is a guy you can win a Super Bowl with. It gets an A. And Alan, we called it. Well,
I don't want to say we because I didn't.
I'm not gonna look clips too.
I thought you guys were a little JMU biased there. But it didn't take me long to come around to the idea. I put it that way.
Speaking of great tweeters, right? We were talking about Ben DiNucci, how he always just like pops up at random times. Ben DiNucci had maybe one of the best tweets of the night last night. He goes, he himself tweets, Quarterbacks Kurt Cignetti has gotten drafted. Fernando Mendoza, Curtis Rourke, Ben DiNucci. Because DiNucci was a 7th rounder in the COVID draft because he met Mike McCarthy in the elevator at the Frisco Star when JMU was playing in the national championship. Only reason he got drafted.
Hilarious.
So that's why networking matters, kids.
It does. Can we clear up some air though about Mendoza? Because they said it last night again. Booger McFarland. I really shouldn't listen to the draft talk because a lot of it makes me mad. But I still respect Mel Kiper, and most of the time when Mel Kiper's talking, I'm like, that makes sense, or I saw that. But like the rest of the guys, I really don't think they do their homework, man. Like the way he talked about Mendoza, like they're trying to frame RPO like air raid.
I heard that.
Yeah. So if everybody remembers, before Patrick Mahomes took the league by storm, if you were an air raid quarterback or you came from an air raid system like Mason Rudolph, like people would get afraid to take you as a quarterback because they didn't think you could handle the NFL.
They didn't think you had the processing power because the air raid is point and shoot.
Yeah.
And it's not processing after the snap.
I understand the RPO propped up against everything else is a simplified way of passing the ball. It limits your decisions. It makes it a little bit more. It makes it easier to get to that point, right?
Yeah, because just to quickly go into what RPO is real quick, stands for run pass option. So your option is
not a read option.
It's not a read option, but you're keying off of what the edge defender does. If he's going to crash in, you're going to hold it. You're going to hit a quick developing route on the side that your body is faced towards. If the edge defender lays out, you can either hand it off, or if you do have the opening, you can still pass it. But it just simplifies the game down where you can do this or that based off of this.
People who like RPO heavy systems or run RPO heavy systems, Steve Sarkisian does a really heavy RPO system. I guarantee you, nobody's going to say that about Arch Manning when he comes out next year, or if he comes out next year.
Yeah.
It will not come up that he's playing in that RPO heavy system. But I will tell you, he is playing in an RPO heavy system. It didn't come up when Quinn Ewers came out, even though Quinn obviously got drafted super late, like a 7th round pick. But it's like people are very selective when it becomes a black mark on you. Mendoza processes well. His mind is his best asset.
He is the smartest quarterback that has been drafted in maybe the last decade.
And he throws guys open, which is, I'm telling you, it's a skill that a lot of quarterbacks coming from college into the NFL are not displaying well enough. And that's why many of them are not successful at the next level. You have to throw guys open in the NFL. Windows get tight, even in man-to-man coverage. The space is limited. If you're not comfortable with that, you're going to struggle. I think, again, Mendoza is going to have some struggles because it's the NFL. That's how it always goes. Nobody comes in and conquers.
He's going to sit for at least half the season, if not the whole season.
Fine.
He'll be great.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
I think Mendoza will be a high-end starter in this league. We talked with Cortland Griffin about it yesterday, a guy who grinds tape, watches more tape than maybe even Allen. And Allen, all he does is watch
I watch
tape.
an unhealthy amount of tape for somebody that doesn't get paid to actually watch tape.
Cortland does the same, and Cortland, I think, gets paid for a little bit, at least a little bit more than what you get paid for watching it. He says he could be a top 7 quarterback in the NFL, and I agree with that. I don't think he'll ever be an all-pro, but I think he will be a very good starter in this league because of his mind and because of what he's able to do. And he would make Sunday-level throws on Saturday. And Booger McFarland also used his back shoulder throws as a negative on him, where back shoulders are one of the, at least in my view, right, one of the more difficult passes to make. You got to put it right on point. And Stafford's made a career of it.
Stafford is the only one I really trust. Stafford and Mahomes now are the only two I trust on a consistent basis to throw that. Even Joe Burrow, I don't want him throwing back shoulder too much.
Yeah, it is an NFL throw.
Yeah.
And Booger was giving him a hard time for it. So Mendoza gets an A. Here before Duke from Parlay Bar and Lounge joins us on this Friday morning, I'm going to quickly go through the immediate draft grades, right? Last night when the draft finished, gut reaction, I threw down my grade. I was ready to go. You ready for this?
All right, I'm ready to disagree. Go.
Mendoza A. New York Jets. They took David Bailey, Kenyon Sadiq, and Omar Cooper Jr. I give them a C.
You crazy, man.
I think it's average.
Have you ever seen a Jets draft?
Okay, I'm grading off of a league average, right? This is not because you're the Jets.
The Jets.
We're not grading on a curve here, Alan.
The Jets were considered to be taking Ty Simpson at number 2, and I promise you it was on the table for them probably.
They weren't going to do it number 2. They may have taken him at Kenyon
It's
Sadiq's
the Jets,
spot.
man. We can't put it past
David Bailey, good pick. Kenyon Sadiq, questionable. Omar Cooper, you had to give up some future draft capital. Or
tough, Teach.
I'm tough. I don't grade on a curve. You want real tough? Jeremiah Love, F. F. Doesn't make sense. Does not make sense. And also, the Cardinals just ruined the running back market for years to come. They just spent $50.5 million in guaranteed money on Jeremiah Love, the most guaranteed money for an NFL running back in league history.
Running backs are back, baby. I love it.
Jeremiah Love is a generational prospect. He was the only generational prospect in this draft. The issue is, by the time that the Cardinals will be able to properly utilize Jeremiah Love, may not be for another 3 or 4 years when he's already at the tail end of his rookie contract, and it's really not going to matter much. The Cardinals have holes across their defensive line. They have holes across their offensive line. Marvin Harrison Jr. looks like a complete bust, so you have wide receiver needs. The only position you have really nailed down is your tight end and Trey McBride. Everything else you needed help at. And you went and got Jeremiah Love. You signed Tyler Algier. I'll stop. Whatever. F. Tennessee, they got Carnell Tate and Keldrick Falk. I gave this an A. We were texting about the Carnell Tate trade, Carnell Tate pick. I didn't agree with it, but then you get Keldrick Falk at the tail end of the first round. I think you made up for it. You got a weapon for Cam Ward. You get a good edge rusher that Saleh can mold and make into an elite level edge rusher. I really, really like those 2 picks.
Yeah, no, I'm cool with that.
Arvell Reese, Francis Mauanoa for the New York Giants. I give that an A as well. You shored up your defensive line. You got a needed offensive lineman, and that's something you're going to need with what you think is your franchise quarterback in Jackson Dart. Cam Scatabo eventually will come back. You need some big bodies to clear up holes for Cam so he can stop running his head into a brick wall like he loves to do. You're going to need time for Jackson Dart to find Malik Neighbors. I love Francis Mauanoa. I think he's got positional versatility. If he doesn't work at tackle, you can slot him in at guard and he can be great. And Arvell Reese is just a Swiss Army knife. John Harbaugh, Denard Wilson, the new defensive coordinator in New York, they get a guy who can play everywhere. And with the fact they have Kayvon Thibodeau, Abdul Carter, Brian Burns, that trio allows Arvell Reese to not be forced into a box and can kind of play up that position versatility.
It's scary season, man. Harbaugh made he didn't hide it. They're going to play him at will. And if you know anything about the will position and what it does in Harbaugh's defenses, it is very, very, very disruptive. So he's going to be. I
love that pick.
He's going to be in everybody's lap pretty much when it comes to 3rd and long. I'm pretty sure we'll get to know him well.
I love that pick. All right, Kansas City, they went with Mansour Delane, Peter Woods. That's a B-. I don't think they needed to give up future draft capital like they did to go up and get Mansour Delane because you see how it was all falling. I don't think Cleveland was going to take him. I don't think Washington was going to take him, and I don't think the Saints were going to take him.
I think Washington was going to take him.
You do?
Yeah. If he'd have fallen to him, I think he was high on their board.
I think that was a smokescreen.
I mean, we'll get to it when we get to Dallas. Like, you can only wait so long, right?
Yeah.
You got to know when to pull the trigger, and the probability of a corner coming off before the Chiefs picked at number 9 was high.
You think it was high? Because I don't think it was high with what Washington and New Orleans had planned.
Between Washington and New Orleans, I think it was high.
There was a tweet yesterday. You know how I love my nerd numbers, right? One of the nerd numbers essentially broke down the percentage chance that Mansour Delane would be there at 9. Seth Walder of ESPN tweeted, at the time of pick number 6, there was a 90% chance Mansour Delane would make it to pick 9. That's according to the draft day predictor. Even if that's a little high, this is what Seth Walder said, editorializing it a little bit. That's the hidden cost of trade-ups. There's a substantial chance the Chiefs gave up a 3 and a 5 for nothing. But there's also a chance that he wouldn't have been there, so you give up the 3, and you didn't want to gamble it.
You want to be in control.
Yeah. So they get a B-. I think Peter Woods was a fantastic pick later on in the first round as well.
Boring.
You think that was a boring pick?
Yeah, he's boring, but it's necessary.
Hey, sometimes you got to eat your vegetables.
Yeah.
And that's eating your vegetables. Sonny Styles, Washington at 7. That's an A.
A++. Sonny Boom Boom Styles. I can't
Great
wait.
pick.
Hey,
I can't wait
Lake texted me and told me we can get that patented. I can call him Sonny Boom Boom Styles.
Oh, yeah, perfect.
So
We'll get that running. Boom, boom.
yeah, I'm telling you.
Reminds me of
I can't wait to see him on the field, man. It's going to be great.
Boom, boom. And then we had a 757 native Cam Chancellor, Virginia Tech great. Cam Bam Chancellor.
He hit hard, that's for sure.
Yeah, he did. Jordan Tyson to the Saints, C-.
Yeah,
I don't like Tyson. I think he's injury prone.
He wasn't at the top of my list, but they needed a receiver, and so they got their guy. I'm not opposed to people going and get people that they think are the number one option at that respective position.
Yeah.
So they had him graded at either wide receiver 1 or 2. Most people had him at wide receiver 1 or 2. I'm not going to fault it.
Yeah. And they got their guy. I just don't like that being their guy.
Yeah.
Cleveland got Spencer Fano and your guy, KC Concepcion.
They got both my guys.
B. I give him a B.
Fano and KC were two guys I was praying one or the other would fall down to where the Niners were because we need a tackle and we need a wide receiver. And they are the two guys that I like the most.
And the Browns said, nope.
No.
Psych. Probably could have gotten an A- here, but I was being a little bit of a tough grader. Could have gotten a B+. I'll give him a B.
Fano's going to be great, man. Joe Staley all over again, man.
Spencer Fano. And they had so many needs. And
yeah,
good for them for attacking the offense because you do want to set up whatever quarterback it is, Dylan Gabriel, Shador Sanders.
Just take Gabriel out of it.
Deshaun Watson.
Shador or whoever they get after that.
Deshaun Watson, I guess. You want to set them up so you can get a good read on whether or not they are your quarterback going into next year's draft. So that's what they did with these picks. Dallas, A. Caleb Downs, Malachi Lawrence, great picks.
Man, I can't believe I'm giving them props, but even to pull the trigger on the trade when they did was perfection.
And they didn't have to give up too much. And they saw Caleb Downs was starting to fall, and they said, huh? Don't mind if I do.
They wanted him. I remember when we did the mock, I told Lake he was crazy when he had him fall into 12. I thought it wouldn't happen.
It was such a funny trade, though, because they just were like, oh, Miami, we'll just swap you real quick. We'll just jump up one, and there we go. But good for them there.
Malachi Lawrence, real quick, if you put his measurables up against David Bailey, from all the way down to the height and the hand length, everything is virtually identical. The issue there would be just on the production level. Bailey clearly was more productive as a collegiate athlete than Malachi was, but they graded like almost identical. Even their 40 times are almost identical. So a lot of upside for that pick with Malachi Lawrence.
I think Dallas had, outside of Vegas getting their quarterback, I think there's a strong case to be made that Dallas had the best draft last night.
Dallas won the trade. I'll go ahead and say it. I give props to my friend who's a Cowboy fan. He's been telling me that from day one. I thought it was optimism, but seeing the picks that came out of it, if Michael Parsons turned into with Quinnen Williams, Caleb Downs, a couple other people. I'm just saying, man.
I still think he should have gotten more in
return.
Do too, but
gotta give him credit.
And look, Jerry Jones may be a future seer because
he's just a bumbling idiot.
Because Micah unfortunately tore his ACL, and now what if Micah doesn't? I mean,
sometimes you gamble and it pays off. Even the people who hit on 18, like it still sometimes lands on the 3 for them. So there you go.
Exactly. That's why I always hit on 18, just in case. That's why I'm always down when I play blackjack. Miami got Caden Proctor, Chris Johnson. B, I think this was granted, Miami needed, name a position and Miami needed it.
Yeah, they need guys.
Caden Proctor is a very high upside guy. Sometimes had some concentration lapses at Alabama, but like the dude is built like a tank.
He needs a mentor. He needs somebody to be hard on him too. He would have been greater under Saban. DeBoer just doesn't coach him quite the same.
He would have been great with Kirk Ferentz at Iowa, who originally committed to Iowa, then backed out of that and went down to Alabama. Dude's a corn-fed Iowan right there. That should have been a Hawkeye.
Big boy.
Telling you, he should have been a Hawkeye. He ain't no Crimson Tide. He should have been a Hawkeye. Ty Simpson goes to the Rams. That's a D-.
What you can't give Jeremiah Love a F and give
positional value. Alan.
I don't care.
Positional value.
I don't care.
It should have been.
Can we give F+?
I'll give F+ to Jeremiah.
The coach doesn't even like it.
Yeah. All right. I'm changing it on the fly. This was a gut reaction, but due to the recent pushback that I've received, it's an F-.
There you go.
It's an F-. That's actually what I meant. My finger just accidentally hit D. No, Ty, we talked about it at length, right? Like the coach isn't in on it. It seems to be a nepotism play because Les Snead, the general manager of the Rams, has a close connection with Ty Simpson's father, who's the head coach at UT Martin. Les Snead is also from Alabama and is an Alabama Crimson Tide fan. And I think just drafted the quarterback of his favorite college football team.
What are we doing?
It's just bad. Baltimore gets Vega Owane. That's an
A.
Yeah. Massive A. Yeah. Interior offensive line was their biggest need. And they
always draft well.
They always
hate them.
They go like this. They sit back and they go, all right, who's going to fall to us? Yeah. Vega Owane, I guess it's him. Kyle Hamilton, I guess it's him.
They always need a player at a position that people are just not looking for.
And they're like, I guess I'll scoop it up.
Yeah.
Tampa goes and gets Ruben Bain, who has a little bit of a fall. I gave that a B. I think it's good. I think it's a very good pick.
I'm going to let Ruben Baines play do the talking. I look forward to telling everybody every single Sunday. I told you. I
could not find the clip of his interview afterwards. Oh, my goodness. Was that an intense
man.
one.
I don't blame him. I felt the disrespect too, Ruben. Let's ball out. I'm not a guy that usually roots for people for sentimental reasons, but I'm rooting for him, man.
Yeah. All right. And he didn't get a haircut, so he clearly just cares about ball. I'm going to quickly roll through these last couple of teams, and then we'll break them down a little bit later in hour number 2. But I just want to get the grades out there, and then we'll bring on Duke from Parlay Bar and Lounge. Detroit went with Blake Miller. That's a C. Minnesota went with Caleb Banks, a defensive tackle out of Florida. That's a B-. Carolina got the offensive lineman Monroe Freeling, B+. Philly jumped up and stole Mekhi Lemon from Pittsburgh. That's a B+. Pittsburgh went with an offensive tackle I've never heard of from Arizona State, Max Ianacher, C-. The Chargers got Akeem Mesidor, an edge rusher from Miami, B-. Chicago got the Oregon white safety Dylan Thieneman, B+. Houston got Keelan Rutledge, a guard out of Georgia Tech, an A. I love that pick. New England got Caleb Lomu, a B, and Seattle got Jadarian Price, the running back out of Notre Dame, C+. All right, we're going to get a break in here. Step aside. We'll be back with Duke from Parlay Bar and Lounge, talk a little bit about the NBA, the NFL draft, and the impact on the cards, the card market. That's all coming up next on Fitz the Bill.
If it don't flow, then it don't drain. If it backs up every time it rains, remember, if it's not working, call Gherkin.
Back in 1976, there was no Angie's List or Google reviews to find the best plumber in town. You'd go ask your neighbor, and around Richmond, they'd tell you call Tommy Gherkin. Today, you can go online and see Gherkin Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling's hundreds of 5-star reviews. And if your neighbors have used Gherkin, you can ask them too. You'll find that even though Tommy Gherkin's plumbing company has grown, their rapid response commitment and dedication to fixing your plumbing and HVAC issues right the first time hasn't faltered a bit. So you know what they say, if it's not working, call Gherkin. 741-6630 or visit gherkinplumbing.com. After 50 years, Gherkin Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling has stayed true to their roots. They've just grown a bit, and the reviews online now too.
Remember, if it's not working, call Gherkin.
If you owe back taxes, listen carefully to rule number 1. Never go up against the IRS alone. They're cracking down, freezing bank accounts, garnishing paychecks, canceling passports. Even your home or business could be at risk. But here's what they don't tell you. The IRS has powerful tax relief programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. That's why smart people call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. Nobody knows these programs like the experts at Optima. Their team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $2 billion in tax debt for people just like you. The IRS is not stopping, so don't wait, and don't take them on alone. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima today for a free consultation.
783-8055. That's 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
If your faucets are dripping, you don't call a dripping faucet specialist. If your toilet is clogged, you don't shop for a plunger or snake expert. When you have any issues with drains, pipes, water heaters, drain lines, you call the people who specialize in it all. Robinson's Plumbing Service. Robinson's Plumbing Service has been voted the Richmond area's best plumbing service. They do it all, and there's 24-hour emergency service available. level. Are your drains slow? Call Robinson's Plumbing Service. They have the drain machines to clean your clogs, the jetters to blast out grease for small roots, and the cameras to inspect your pipe to see if the line needs repair. Is your gas or electric water heater not doing its job? Robinson's can handle that too. From toilets and faucets to water lines and drain lines, no matter what the issue, Robinson's Plumbing Service can handle it all because they're Richmond's all things plumbing specialist. Need service or would like an inspection? Schedule now at robinsonsplumbingservice.com. Robinson's Plumbing Service, voted the Richmond area's best plumbing service.
You've probably heard all those ads for life insurance. Just a few dollars a day, apply online in minutes, no medical exam. Simple, easy, and cheap, right? Now you're thinking, maybe I should get a quote. Well, smart thinking. Everyone should have life insurance. But here's what they don't tell you. Those few dollars a day rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou the 50 to 60-year-old not-so-perfect candidate. Like you. You take prescription meds and you're overweight. Winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you got to call Big Lou because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds too. Get a quote right now at 800-529-2856. 800-529-2856 or biglou.com.
Coming up on the Friday edition of Border to Border, we'll recap round 1 of the NFL draft and look ahead to the rest of the event. 4 until 6 here on 106.1 ESPN.
This is Joe Simpson with the Atlanta Braves, and when I'm on my road trip to D.C. and Baltimore, I always tune in to 106.1 ESPN Richmond for all my sports news. They've got you covered.
Welcome back in. Fitz the Bill on this Friday, April 24th morning. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick. Alan alongside. We've got Duke from Parlay Bar and Lounge and Graybo's as well over in Scott's Edition joining us this morning because the NFL draft happened. The NBA playoffs are happening. I guess I shouldn't say the NFL draft happened. It's happening. We still got 6 rounds to go. NBA playoffs are happening, and who better to talk some card stuff with than Duke from Graybo's and Parlay and everything going on over there in Scott's. Good morning, Duke. How we doing?
Mr. Fitzpatrick, always good to be here. Alan, good to see you. I brought my head of security, Ryan Fitz, and I think if you're on YouTube right now or Twitter in the chat, say more Fitzy. Maybe he'll pop in. He's currently lurking over my shoulder. I've never felt this scared of looking this way when I've got security behind me, essentially. Let's start with the belle of the ball, Fernando Mendoza, and then dive into some other stuff with the NFL draft real quick. But Fernando Mendoza goes number 1. I think we talked about it briefly last year around this time. I had you on to talk some card market stuff, but does going number 1 impact the card market at all for Fernando Mendoza, the trading card market? Is that something that you'll see a spike in Fernando Mendoza cards now? Yeah, but I would say the spike's probably already happened. It's no surprise he went 1. Yeah. So when the moment came when it was decided that he was going to be number 1, which was months and months ago, most likely, his Bowman U cards would spike. And so now he's at a point going 1, similar to like a Cam Ward situation where you're a great prospect going into probably a bad situation, and your year 1 is probably not going to be good. I mean, it could be, but so I wouldn't invest in him today. If you should have,
don't buy high.
Yeah, 6 months ago, and then year 1 when he probably struggles a little bit, team struggles a little bit, maybe that's a time to buy like Cam Ward today if you believe in him, or Mendoza a year from now.
So with the NFL draft last night, we saw Topps have this pretty cool, what I thought, activation last night where the guys who were in the green room, I would assume maybe they did it with some of the guys who weren't in the green room, but were the big names like Mendoza who celebrated at home in Miami. But for the guys specifically in the green room, they got their jersey, they hugged Goodell, and then they immediately went over to a new card of them and they signed it. And I assume it's going to be put in packs that kind of like the Willy Wonka golden ticket. Maybe you can get a 1-of-1 with that. I know you were at the Topps conference a couple of weeks ago and they talked about it briefly. What is that activation from Topps?
Yeah, so Fitz and I and Gray were in Phoenix a couple weeks ago at the Topps industry conference with 600 other card shop owners and all the Topps people, some athletes. It was really cool. And we learned about that they were going to do this at the draft. Topps has a product called Topps Now where they try to capture like moments. Like, so somebody breaks a record, hits a historic home run, whatever it is, they'll get them to sign that card right then. And then if you buy a Topps Now product, you might get a not so great moment, or you might get a really historic moment. So I think these draft cards are going to be big chases for sure.
How do you think they'll impact card? Like if you pull one, is it going to be worth a ton of money? Like how is that going to break down?
Yeah, depending on who it is. Somebody like Mendoza, bigger names in the draft, skill position guys, the offensive tackles and defensive linemen. Well, I would take that back. Some defensive edge guys now are becoming like bona fide stars, like Hutch and Michael Parsons and those guys. It's harder for like an offensive lineman to get a lot of so like I would say 1 through 5 draft picks, and then the skill position guys later. I think those cards are going to be pretty valuable.
Yeah, I feel bad for the guy that opens it up and it's like a Kenyon Rutledge card, and you're like, cool. I guess
still a 1 of 1, right?
Yeah, it's still cool, but
yeah.
Makai Lemon, you're like, this is awesome.
Sure.
And then Rutledge, you're like, cool. I got an interior offensive lineman from Georgia Tech. This is woo.
Right.
Your team, the Commanders, got Sonny Styles.
Yeah.
How are we feeling about that?
I'm pretty happy with it. So I've got a dear friend, shout out Timmy Wayner if you're listening, who's a big Buckeye. Any kind of Buckeye noise, we go to him like, what do you think about this?
Yeah.
So last night, we were on a text chain with like 20 dudes talking about like Styles or Downs, and he actually likes Styles a little bit better as a long term. He likes them both. I mean, I think they're both studs, but he wasn't unhappy with it. So I think it's a good pick.
Yeah, the way the draft broke yesterday in the top 7 for Washington felt perfect. Like the fact they could pick between Caleb Downs, Sonny Styles, like according to the reports, and something I have been saying a lot on this show, and something Adam Peters said, nobody's telling the truth. So it was reported that they really liked Mansour Delay, and so it looked like only one guy that they really liked had come off the board. Now, did they actually, or did they send out a smoke screen to force Kansas City to move up? Who really knows? But the fact they're able to get Sonny Styles, that's big time for him.
Absolutely. A lot of locals may not remember this, but Delane went to Virginia Tech originally and then left and then became number 6 in the draft. Can you believe that?
I've a couple of my Virginia Tech friends were talking about Mansour Delane in the lead up to the NFL draft, and they're like, I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole. He sucked at Virginia Tech, and then he goes to LSU, and he's just an one of the best corners in the league. So you leave Virginia Tech, maybe not in the James Franklin era. I'll be positive in the James Franklin era that now no longer do you leave Virginia Tech and get better.
Let's hope that's the case.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Whit Babcock's no longer there after he announced his retirement.
I saw that. Yeah,
maybe positive things to come.
Yeah.
I want to transition over to NBA playoffs here because that's the big stuff happening. We saw the Knicks fumble away a game 3 win. They're down 2-1. But I want to talk like here for Anthony Edwards, right? Like it feels like every playoffs, it is his coming out party. He just needs to get through the Western Conference Finals, get through that proverbial wall, and then he can finally make it in the NBA Finals. He can finally maybe be the face of the league.
Yeah.
It's something Alan and I talk about all the time. It's the NBA's in this process of phasing out the old faces of LeBron and Steph and trying to usher in this new era of faces, Wemby and Ant. How does that impact card trading value, and how do the playoffs as a whole impact that?
It impacts it a lot. So somebody like Ant-Man has been known in the card world for years. He's been collected and sought after, but I still don't think he's hit mainstream America yet. And I think both performance and publicity really affect card values. The old adage, does my wife know who this is? She knows Steph. She knows Wemby, right? She knows Cooper Flagg. She probably still doesn't know Ant-Man. He's in Minnesota. He's had some success in the playoffs, but hasn't really pushed through to mainstream. I think a lot of people have recognized he's got that star quality, not just basketball ability, but charisma and all that good stuff. And so I think for him, he really needs to make it to the finals or get traded to a bigger market to really push through. But he's already big in cards. But if you look at somebody like Wemby, Luka, even Steph, LeBron, all those guys, I mean, their card values are significantly higher still. So I think he's got room to grow.
Duke, you just punched a major hole in my Anthony Edwards face of the league argument.
Yeah.
I've never even considered, does your wife know this player in Anthony Edwards yet? No.
I mean, if as far as talent, he might be in the top 3. As far as fame, I still think he's like 10 or 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He needs to just find a Taylor Swift.
That would help.
Because Travis Kelce was also a top end type.
Yeah.
Did that impact Travis Kelce at all?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it did. So for years, in football, you chase quarterbacks. That's the thing, right? And even though he's arguably maybe the best tight end of all time, my wife may have known who he was only because the Chiefs are always on TV. So he was more famous than probably any tight end ever, but the T Swift really pushed him over the edge. Yeah.
is there T Swift and Travis Kelce trading cards out there? I feel like
together?
Tops Now moment.
I don't know, Fitz. Do you know? I know, so Taylor Swift has some trading cards and some products, and Travis obviously has a bunch, but I'm not sure if there's one together. There should be.
That'd be crazy. Now that would be a Tops Now. I'd want to pull and be like,
yeah, both autographed. Yeah.
Oh, I think that would go to move over Honus Wagner. Was it Honus Wagner? Is that the highest card ever sold?
Yeah. Honus Wagner and the 52 male are usually like the top.
Okay.
Top
I know a little bit about
maybe their wedding day. They could do a Tops Now card.
Don't tempt Tops with a good time.
You know, Michael Rubin's already thinking about that. Yeah.
He's thinking of a lot of things going through that man's mind.
Yeah.
He's a marketing guy. I don't know if I want to use the word genius, but a marketing guru, I guess I could say.
Fair enough. Yeah.
With things going wrong, right? Like last night with the Knicks just fumbling away the game late. CJ McCollum now has become this villain arc of New York.
Right.
Does this negatively impact things? Like, do you see it where, all right, everyone's lost interest in Jalen Brunson now? Like, he was maybe going up, and then now they're down 2-1. Is it that quick reactions?
I think it can. I think it's all about when you exceed or don't meet expectations is when the card values change. So, like, for example, if the Knicks won their series and then lost a 6 or 7 game series to the Celtics, I would say Brunson and Hart and Cat kind of stay where they are. If they lost in the first round and if Brunson plays poorly, I think that could slightly, affect their cards on a negative. Somebody like McCollum, as good as he is, he's never been the dude, and now he's kind of the dude, but it's probably too late in his career to really for it to matter that much. So I think the Knicks could lose some value if they lose this series for sure.
Are you invested in anyone in the NBA playoffs?
Yeah, it's a good question. So before I knew I was coming, I knew I wanted to talk about this. I certainly have my own thoughts. I texted a few collector friends to get their thoughts. I texted the Graybos team to get their thoughts, and who has the biggest potential to move in the playoffs. A lot of them said Cade. Coming off the lung situation, being a 1 seed, a lot of my gambling sharps I listen to actually have them losing their second round matchup to Cleveland, and then they would have a tough matchup. Probably against the Celtics, could be someone else. And so, somebody like Cade is probably way undervalued as far as compared to his basketball ability. So he could definitely move. And the problem is, I think the West is going to win. Whoever comes out of there, the Thunder, the Spurs, maybe the Nuggets, even though they lost last night as well. But the problem with like a Shea and a Wemby is they're already very expensive. So I think certainly winning a second championship for Shea, winning Wemby, I think would go nuts if he won to win the whole thing. But they have less room to move than somebody like Cade, who could maybe double in value, triple in value with like an NBA championship.
I mean, heck, the Pistons may lose this first round
to
the Magic. I had them losing to the Charlotte Hornets, who didn't even make it out of the play-in. But yeah, I mean, is there anyone else outside of Cade? I mean, it must all be in the Eastern Conference, like young guys in the Eastern Conference who have the potential to really rock it up.
Yeah, so I was going through the teams. Obviously, on the Pistons, Cade is the most collectible. On the Cavs, who a lot of people think can make some noise, there's a couple different guys there. None of them, I don't think, have the collectability as like a Cade if he goes really far. I don't think the Knicks are going to do it. I think Brunson has the unfortunate all three. Like if he plays, he's got a tough defensive matchup with Dyson Daniels. He's going to have a tough one with the Celtics, and if he plays the Hawks, the Cavs, I think he could have a tough matchup there. So I'm going to go back to like the Celtics, right? Celtics have one title. Tatum's value dropped a lot when he got hurt last year, like a lot. When him and Halliburton both got hurt, their card values really went in half with an injury like that.
Wow.
Because I think people, A, you're out of the zeitgeist for a year because of the injury. B, some people think you never fully come back for injuries like that. So, if you throw a second title on Tatum coming off the injury, I think you have the rebound effect plus some more. So I think there's some potential there. But again, I don't think they're going to beat the West.
Yeah, I don't think anyone and with the Thunder, they just have looked so dominant early on, and then the Wemby concussion now throws a whole wrench into it all. Because I think coming into the playoffs, I had the Spurs as the best team in the Western Conference. I thought they were going to win it, but now I don't even know if they likely will. But the Blazers have looked really solid. And with Wemby potentially being out in tonight, I think he's out for tonight's game, and we don't know when he'll come back.
Right,
that could throw a whole wrench in. And now it looks like it's the Thunder Invitational in the West.
It appears that way, yeah, because the Nuggets are struggling a bit, and as you said, Wemby's dinged up. A concussion last couple games, hopefully not longer. Yeah. So the thing with the Nuggets is they could win or lose any of their next three series, right? Like it wouldn't surprise me if they beat the Thunder, but it also wouldn't surprise me if they lose to the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
I think the Spurs would give the Thunder a full strength. Spurs would give the Thunder the best battle, but I agree that it's looking like the Thunder.
Yeah, it's the Thunder of and even with their injuries, with Jalen Williams suffering an injury, but
yeah,
I think the Timberwolves are going to give the Spurs, if they're not 100% healthy, a little bit of a run for their money because. I've been an Ant-Man. Like I said, I've been an Ant-Man defender since day one. I've been petitioning for him to be the face of the league. So I just got to go out and I got to start marketing to the moms.
Yeah.
I think that's the way to go for it.
Guerrilla marketing.
Although he's a little tough to market to the moms with some of his off the
Twitter stuff.
Yeah, the Twitter stuff. But hey, he teamed up with Obama the other month ago. So who knows how that goes. I also want to ask you about an event you guys have coming up. I believe in Fredericksburg. Is it tomorrow, the stuff that you guys got coming up?
There are 2 plugs I would like to make. That's the first one. So we are hosting co-hosting a card show in Fredericksburg at the Fred Nats Baseball Stadium on Sunday. So 2 days from now with Next Level Cards, which is another shop in Ashland. And I think we're going to have about 150 tables. It's free entry for collectors to come. 9 to 3 on Sunday at the baseball stadium. So come see us.
That's awesome. What's your second plug?
May 2nd at Parlay. We're going to have a massive Cinco de Mayo party.
Okay.
Bands, DJs, Lucha Libre wrestlers storming the parking lot. Tons of great food inside and outside. We're going to inside regular menu, outside burrito tacos and all the good fixings, and a lot of tequila will be there on site. So it should be a good time.
That should be fun because you guys know how to have some parking lot parties, and you know how to have a good watch party too. The VCU stuff you guys had cooking up over there.
Yeah,
that was the spot to be.
So we got this massive. We call it the parlay.
I know it's
in the parking lot.
That's the coolest thing in Scott's edition.
So obviously we got it for St. Patty's Day. March Madness was unbelievable. And then on May 2nd, you also have the Kentucky Derby. So we're going to have bands and DJs all day. And at 6:57 p.m., they're going to stop the music. We're going to
for 1 minute.
The sexiest 2 minutes in sports. Yep. So for 2 minutes, we're going to have the Derby, the bugle, and the horses and the ponies and all that. And then we're going to go back to music. So
that's good. I got to find my way out there for that. And then I hopefully, I don't know if you guys are planning the hot dog eating contest on the 4th of July.
I was talking with Fitz about it this morning. Yes.
I did the 999 challenge at the Flying Screw. I think we may have talked about it. I crushed the 999 challenge. 9 hot dogs, 9 adult beverages, and 9 innings, of course. I think I am fully prepared to win this year's hot dog eating contest.
You can enter. So we usually have 12 entrants, and it's on 4th of July. We're going to reach out to the previous entrants and give them first crack, try to defend their title and defend their second, third, fourth place finish. But then we'll put it out to market. So I'll text you so you can jump in there.
I'll be the first regular person to sign up, a non-return, and I will take all of it. I have been preparing for the hot dogs.
Okay,
I think I could. Although I heard you guys got like the extra large hot dogs last year, and you only like 4.
They did 7, but I'm saying they did 9, but the year before. So it was a slight glitch in the ordering process at Parlay last year. I apologize for that, but we got the bigger hot dogs. Year 1, we had the regular size. So we're going the regular, like Nathan's Frank's.
Okay,
this year.
I think I could put away at least 12 to 15.
That'll probably get you 4th place.
All right,
so
I'll start working on a little bit more.
Okay.
I'll start working on the speed aspect of it because I don't think it's a stomach issue. I think it's a speed issue.
Yeah. Well, Paul Tran, our winner last year, I'm sure he's shaking in his boots right now.
I hope he is. I'm coming for you, Paul. But Duke, appreciate your time. Have fun on Sunday up at the good old 540 up there, my hometown. Love the good old Fredericksburg.
Yes, sir.
Enjoy that card show. Should be fun, and should be a great time with the Kentucky Derby, Cinco de Mayo party, and everything that you guys have got coming up.
Yep. Well, I appreciate you having me on, and happy to talk sports anytime. So thank you.
Love it. We're gonna get a quick break in. Step aside. Be back with Pat Jaggers from the Motor Racing Network right here on Fitz the Bill.
Is your home's AC ready for spring? Call Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling for tune-ups or to install a new cooling system. For a limited time, purchase a new qualifying Lennox system for up to $1,800 in rebates, or qualified buyers make no payments, incur no interest for 60 months when financing a new Lennox system. Contact Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling at 804-746-5853 or HermanAllenPlumbing.com today. Conditions apply. See dealer for details.
This is advertising material. Our highways have become hunting grounds. The Predators, 18-wheelers, 80,000-pound killing machine sharing the road with your family. A semi-truck doesn't need to be speeding to destroy your life. At just 30 miles per hour, a fully loaded big rig can crush a car like a soda can. Your airbags, your seatbelts, they weren't built for that. Alexander Shinar Trial Attorneys knows trucking companies cut corners on maintenance, push drivers past legal limits, and hire underqualified operators. You shouldn't pay the price. If you've been injured in a trucking accident, call Alexander Shinar Trial Attorneys attorneys. You're not just fighting a driver, you're fighting billion-dollar corporations with an army of lawyers. Alexander Schnarr trial attorneys have thrived over the years by taking on the trucking industry. They fight harder, they win bigger. Alexander Schnarr trial attorneys is on your side. One call is all it takes. No cost, no risk. And they don't get paid until you do. Call 877-222-6666 or visit alexwins.law. They fight for you.
Past results do not guarantee future outcomes. Every case is different. Philip George, licensed attorney in Virginia, is responsible for legal work. Office located at 500 East Main Street, Suite 1600-113, Norfolk, Virginia 23510. This is advertising material.
When flying out of Richmond, just park and go. Richmond's Park and Go provides door-to-door shuttle service to the terminal. So there's no waiting, no hassle, and it's safe and secure. For the best deal in airport parking, simply visit and book a reservation at bookparkgo.com or just download their app in the Play Store. They're ready for you 24/7, 365 days a year for your airport parking needs. Come see how easy and hassle-free airport parking can really be at Park and Go.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, rock star. Let's look at your account. When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything. Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
A KFC tale in the pursuit of flavor. The Colonel made his $10 Tuesday bucket so full with 8 pieces of juicy, crispy chicken or tenders that it might just last you till Wednesday, if you've got that kind of self-control. I mean, some people want leftovers. Others are more into right nowers. The Colonel lived so we could chicken. $10, 8 pieces, one big deal with KFC $10 Tuesdays.
Prices and participation may vary. Taxes, tips, and fees extra.
1061 ESPN on-air interviews presented by the Herman Allen Plumbing Heating and Cooling Hotline with Lennox products that make the air in your home absolutely perfect.
Are you suffering from a sports injury, chronic pain, or something that just plain hurts? Ortho Virginia can help get you on the road to recovery. As the state's largest provider of orthopedic care, Ortho Virginia's team of specialists offers surgical and non-surgical treatment options. With 12 offices conveniently located in the Richmond area, visit orthovirginia.com or call 804-915-1910 to discover why at Ortho Virginia, stronger starts here.
Golf season is here at Hunting Hawk Golf Club. Plan your next golf outing for your kids' athletic team, church group, or fundraiser online at huntinghawk.com. That's huntinghawk.com.
Turning on a faucet is a little thing. Soap is a little thing, but using them together to wash your hands is a big thing because it helps keep everybody healthy. Let's do the little things. A message from the Virginia Department of Health. Your elbow is a little thing. A tissue is a little thing, but using them to cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze is a big thing because it helps keep everybody healthy. Let's do the little things. A message from the Virginia Department of Health.
WorkZone is the one-stop shop for the hardworking man and woman. When it comes to the biggest selection, WorkZone has it. Over 15 brands of boots in all toe types, even boots for the ladies. WorkZone has jackets in stock for all seasons, from cold weather to lightweight. See why WorkZone will be your first and only stop for the best brands and comfort and workwear. And a gift card from WorkZone is always the perfect gift. Visit WorkZone on Temple Avenue, next to the Ford dealership, WorkZoneVA.com, and check them out on Instagram and Facebook.
Good sports radio doesn't chase headlines, it explains them. That's the Sports Huddle with Bob and Matt. Weekdays 4 to 6.
And now, Pat Jaggers.
Pat Jaggers from the Motor Racing Network joining us on this Friday morning. Good morning, Pat. How are we doing?
I'm good. How are you?
We are doing fantastic. Let's start with the biggest story of the last, 20, 30 years with Tyler Reddick winning 5 of the first 9 races this year. If I had told you this would happen prior to the start of the season, what would you have called me?
I would have said you're full of bleep. I wouldn't have called you a name. I just would have said you're full of it.
How has he done it?
Well, it's not about how. It's about why, and that's the question that none of us seem to have the answer to. They obviously have, but it's funny though because Tyler's dominance has been so incredible. I want to use a parallel that is very near and dear to my heart. The Indiana Hoosiers won a national championship this year, and the first thing people do when this dominance comes out of nowhere, ooh, have you ever seen that Vine or GIF where it's like, ooh, he's stealing? Like, I feel like that's what's happening right now when they're saying, oh, he's cheating, and oh, they're cheating, right? And it's unbelievable to me. So with the Indiana Hoosiers, everyone says, oh, they're doing something like Michigan was, where they're sign stealing and they're cheating that way and yada, yada, yada. Sometimes you just got to accept greatness for what it is. But what's incredible to me, and I want to apologize to the loyal listeners of ESPN Richmond. I've done a piss poor job of really selling how incredible what Tyler Reddick has done. You guys have listened to this segment. You know that he's the only driver in Cup history to win the first 3 races of a season. You know, he's one of 4 drivers to win 5 of the first 9 races in the season all time. You know, all these ridiculous stats about how great he is. But what you don't know is the similarity between his owner, Michael Jordan, and himself. You know, we talk about guys like Ryan Blaney being clutch and Kyle Larson, yada, yada, yada. The real Mr. Clutch of NASCAR is Tyler Reddick. If you got to take a shot in Game 7, you want Michael Jordan to do it, right? Well, if you got a race on a line this year, right now in 2026, you want Tyler Reddick steering your race car, and here's why. 3 of his last 6 wins came in with the last lap pass. 5 of his last 7 wins came with a pass for the win in the final 2 laps. 7 of his 13 NASCAR Cup Series wins came with a pass for at least in the final 6 laps, and 6 of his 13 wins came in races that ended in overtime. I don't know if it gets any more clutch than that. Oh, and by the way, 3 of his 5 wins this season came with a pass for the win in the final 2 laps.
Wow.
Game 7, money's on the line. You're putting the ball in the hands of Michael Jordan. And you know what? Right now in 2026, if the race is on the line, I want Michael Jordan's driver, Tyler Reddick, behind the wheel of a race car.
That's insane. Pat, I love it when you come on because you just got the stats. You got the nerd stats that I absolutely love. And now we turn our attention to Talladega, where, breaking news, Tyler Reddick is pretty freaking good there, right? I mean, yeah, he could win another race this weekend.
Oh, absolutely. And when you guys ask me my picks, we've got to start there. It's not just the fact that he won the Daytona 500 and, he won I believe the spring race in 2024 at Talladega. No, you pick Tyler Reddick because he's done something pretty incredible that nobody else has done. And what that is, well, by the way, Tyler Reddick won the last 2 drafting track races. He won he won Daytona and he won Atlanta. He's the first back-to-back drafting track winner since Ricky Stenhouse Jr. did it in 2017. So the data is telling you, in that degree, to go with Tyler Reddick if you think he's going to win 3 in a row. We've never seen that. It's a possibility. He could maybe do it. We haven't seen it in the next-gen car, with this current car that we have right now in the modern era, right? So you could go that route. But the data is also telling me that in the last Cup Series, the last 11 NASCAR Cup Series races at Talladega, we've had a different winner. And so you could go 2 different ways with this. If you're picking for a winner that is likely to end that 11 different driver streak, like a different driver streak winning at Talladega, you're going to go with Tyler Reddick because it makes the most sense. But if you're going to go with somebody that's not Tyler Reddick and you don't want to pick one of those drivers that's won one of the last 11 races there, well, you should probably go with a Michael McDowell, a guy who seems to start in the front row. And by the way, in the next gen era has the most poles on the super speedways. That would tell you to go in that direction. Another direction that you should probably go is somebody like a Kyle Busch, who, by the way, has led laps in the last 10 Talladega races. So there's different data telling you to go in different directions. It's just, what do you believe in? Do you believe in the streak of having, 12 different drivers win at Talladega? That's what we'd be looking at. Okay, you don't go with Tyler Reddick. Or if you're fully all in on Tyler Reddick being as dominant as he is, well, you're probably going to go with him. So the data is telling you to do 2 different things here. And my gut is telling me that I'm going to go with the devil I know. And the devil I know is Tyler Reddick because, man, he is on it like stank on you know what.
And you got Michael McDowell out there too. You brought him up, and he had himself a really good Daytona, and then he was taken out. I forget the big one on the last couple of laps. He was taken out, and he's a guy that always finds his way at the front of these racetracks, at Daytona, at Talladega. And his racing style, it seems to lend itself to this style of racing in a really impressive way. McDowell, what does he need to do to win?
I mean, it's just avoid the big one, man. And I mean, here's the thing, though. That's easier said than done. Talladega is an unreal place to race. And why is that? Well, here's why. 5 of the 13 races with the most lead changes in NASCAR Cup Series history, well, all those happened in the last 5 Talladega races. I mean, we just seen an unreal amount of passing at Talladega. But I will say this. To 126 right now, we've had the least amount of cautions that we have had since 2012. Keep that in mind. Right now, the NASCAR Cup Series, people say, why is it so hard to win a Cup? Why is it so compete in Cup? Well, it's because these guys are incredible. In 2026, right now, our drivers have the least amount of cautions and DNFs since 2012. So that should just tell you how amazing our drivers are and how efficient this season has been. So it's been pretty incredible, to say the least. But back to your question about Michael McDowell, you know, our drivers are telling us right now that they're racing at their most efficient level, and he should be able to avoid the big one. But that's easier said than done, because the last 5 Talladega races, Jack, 99.5 percentile for most lead changes in a race. So he's just got to be at the right place at the right time. But when there's that many passes for the lead, it's easier said than done.
That is crazy. The least amount of cautions up to this point in the season, least amount of DNFs. Is that what NASCAR wanted in this next gen car? Are they getting their goal?
I mean, sure. I mean, if I don't know if that's what they were going for, but in terms of efficiency, sure. I think it's more about the fact that right now you could argue that our Cup Series drivers are the most talented they've been since 2014, when you saw guys like Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, Carl Edwards, Matt Kenseth, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin. All those drivers were in their primes.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, in terms of efficiency, that's what we're seeing right now.
I love it. Pat, how can people listen or watch the race this weekend at Talladega, the Jack Links 500, Sunday, 3 p.m.?
Well, make sure you guys check out the Motor Racing Network once again. I say it each and every week to loyal ESPN Richmond listeners, make sure you guys sync the radio dial with the TV dial, and you will, well, not TV dial, just the television nowadays, but make sure you guys sync the two, and you'll never go back. You'll be on the edge of your seat, especially this race where you're going to see a ton of lead changes.
I love it, Pat. Appreciate your time. Have a great rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend and enjoy the race. Maybe Tyler Reddick can get some more NASCAR history.
Sure. Absolutely. You guys have a good one.
Of course. There goes Pat Jaggers of the Motor Racing Network. Always appreciate him taking some time out of his day, out of his Fridays, to chat some NASCAR with us. Should be another fun race this week, as Tyler Reddick has been red hot, and Pat always comes with the fun stats, with the great stats. Everything about Tyler Reddick, uber impressive this year.
Yeah, could you imagine being so great that you just get in contact with people and it just seeps off on them too?
All right. You know, LeBron will.
They used to call him Black Jesus. I'm just saying.
LeBron will start a.
I've never heard of LeBron being called Black Jesus. Just the touch of Michael Jordan will make you great, apparently.
All right. All right. Unfortunately, I have no pushback for that.
I know you were very mild about that too. I could see you kind of gritting your teeth a little bit.
It's just there's no argument for it, right? His team is doing things we've never seen before, and he did things we never saw before in the NBA until LeBron came in. But
maybe LeBron should take up ownership.
That's what I'm saying. Isn't he part of a ownership stake in
Liverpool?
Liverpool. Yeah. So maybe they can start winning more often.
They did win Tottenham. Yeah, I was gonna say they did win one time, but either way,
Tottenham is about to get relegated. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I did.
You have that one team that got relegated that I'm not even going to try and pronounce. I know Chris is mad at me about my poor pronunciation.
We got Tottenham right.
We got Tottenham. I can get Tottenham.
We got to train our audience for some EPL. It's getting pretty dramatic out there.
Yeah, it's a soap opera across the pond.
Maybe we'll do a little bit of a mashup, getting closer to World Cup.
As we that's actually a good idea. We'll keep it locked. Before we wrap up here, the Mekhi Lemon story of last night. Have you seen the updates here?
I haven't seen the story. Wait, you talking about how the Eagles basically hacked into the Steelers comms for the war room and
pretty much
in front of them?
Philly makes the trade with Dallas to leapfrog over Pittsburgh to take Mekhi Lemon. Mekhi Lemon was in the green room on the phone with Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh saying, we're going to take you with this next pick. Get ready. You're going to be a Steeler. You're going to get announced in front of all the hometown fans. Get ready, man. This is awesome. Then Philly makes the trade. Everything starts breaking down. And Philly calls Mekhi while he's on the phone with Omar Khan, the general manager of the Steelers. And you know what Mekhi Lemon says to Omar Khan? Man, why is Philly calling me?
I can see him doing that.
Can you imagine what went through Omar Khan's mind? Huh? Wait, who's calling you? No, you don't. They're picking after us.
I love this guy, man.
No, he's saying they're picking before you. What's going on there?
I love Mekhi Lemon. I don't care what nobody says. I love him. He's gonna be great in Philly.
And they gave up something, right? But for Dallas letting Philly do that, I thought for sure they would have asked for an arm and a leg. It was just 2 4th-rounders.
Yeah,
seems a little. Yeah. Whew. Just so funny.
He's funny. I feel like he's always going to speak his mind. He's going to be great on the mic.
There is one bad thing happening in Pittsburgh. Another bad thing to go along with Mekhi Lemon being stolen. We got a text in just now. Pittsburgh Pens go down in 4 games. Philadelphia Flyers are no joke. Philly wins again. They're winning the state battle, man.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh might go to war with Philly after this week.
I mean, they've got their number in hockey. I think they've got their number in football right now, too. So,
and that's the perfect way to end this week of Fitz the Bill. We got so much more draft content coming up next week. We'll do a full reaction of rounds 1 through 7, dive into some of the stuff we couldn't get to today. We got NBA playoffs still going on. Give me the Timberwolves. I'm out on the Knicks. If you want my New York Knicks stock, it's for sale. It's for sale. We also got a survey going on. You can find it on my Twitter at FitzAllTheWay, FITZ all the way. You can also find it, link in bio over on our Instagram, Fitz the Bill, ESPN RVA over there. It's just a way to help improve Fitz the Bill. You can tell us what you like, what you don't like, what you want to hear more of, what you want to hear less of, everything like that. We'd really appreciate it if you go over to Twitter, Fitz All the Way, or Instagram, Fitz the Bill, ESPN RVA. Click on the link and fill out that survey. Would really, really help us improve Fitz the Bill. We'll talk to you Monday. We are where Richmond talks sports.
Your home for Richmond Spiders athletics all year.